And thanks so much for joining us. We are closing in on Election Day. This is Local Decision 2024. I'm Eric Nelson, and in the North Metro TV studios with us is Ryan Hollihan, Spring Lake Park City Council. Ryan, thanks so much for stopping by.
Appreciate it. Yeah,
we always, off the top, let the candidates tell the viewers about themselves. And in your case, why are you running for the City Council?
Sure. So, like I said, when we were talking, I've lived in Spring Lake Park for 15 plus years. I like it. It's quiet. It's kind of the old town feel. And we never really had too much to do with City Council or any interactions until a couple years ago. We went to do a variance for our house, and it was amazing how painful they can make it and how willing certain people are to go above and beyond to make it as difficult as possible. So after 2 different times going back and forth with City Council and those guys, my wife and I talked, and I said I was going to run just for a change. You know, sometimes having somebody that's younger, different perspective. Like I said, I'm in construction, so I understand the backside of everything on that end. So kind of bring stuff to the table that maybe somebody else doesn't have in terms of, skills or skill sets. And sometimes just, a fresh view, fresh eyes always kind of makes things work better sometimes. So,
what do you think in your background, on your resume, has prepared you to be on the council?
I think almost 20 years now I've been an electrician. I've worked for small shops, I've worked for huge shops. I've run crews for years. The shop that I'm at now we've been running crews for the last 8 years. I know how to delegate and at the same time know how to put certain things to certain people with their skill sets so that at the end everything works, everything's good. And I think just kind of a level-headed playing field kind of brings into that as well.
So you're very comfortable with the electrical power grid. How do you think you'll handle the political power grid? Because as you've said, you've dealt with some of the frustrations dealing with the council.
Yeah. I think honestly, I would do really good at it just because knowing our Mayor Bob Nelson and having a fantastic relationship with him starting from the time that we started dealing with City Council and to this day, just kind of some of the stuff we've talked about and spitballing ideas back and forth. It's nice to have people that you've already talked to that share the same ideas, and to see where Spring Lake Park could go, which is hard because we're basically 100% built. It's 99 point whatever. But yeah, I think there's some real opportunities in there to get fresh set eyes on some stuff and kind of make it go from there.
Did Bob publicly recruit you to run?
Not publicly, no. He had talked about it with me, and I told him I would, and just kind of see how that goes. So,
what do you like right now about Spring Lake Park? Obviously, you know the city well.
I like our police department. Our police chief is fantastic. I think that's kind of like the building block of everything. We know all of our officers really well. My wife's businesses, we deal with them quite frequently, which is good. Our police chief is fantastic, like I said. It was nice to have Hy-Vee come in because that's definitely a positive change compared to what that land and municipal liquor store was before. I like it for the fact that it's still quiet. It's not the right outside downtown. You're just far enough from the freeway, but you can still get everywhere relatively quick. I think that's probably my favorite part.
The impact of Hy-Vee, because I know recently USA Today ranked it as the top grocery chain in the country. Yeah. So having one in Spring Lake Park, what does that mean to the city?
I think it's huge because, like we kind of talked, there's not a lot. You got Blaine, just north, obviously, that has restaurants, more than you can pick at a time kind of thing. Spring Lake Park doesn't have that. So I think getting the grocery store there, it draws, Blaine draws people for the restaurants. Hy-Vee draws people from Blaine for grocery shopping in the same token. I think that works out well.
What needs to be fixed in the city or improved upon?
That's a good one.
Roads, parks?
I think our parks are, I mean, obviously they could always be revitalized. I think our roads, I mean, there's always work going on. I know
Yeah.
they're doing fiber optic right now, so they got a lot of the construction going on the easements and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, I would agree, yeah, roads probably are one of the things that, I mean, obviously get beat on, especially with plows and salt and stuff like that.
Do you have any priorities for the budget if you do get elected?
I know that they were talking about a decent tax hike, which scares me, especially for Spring Lake Park, for the fact that if you look at Spring Lake Park as a whole, there's a lot of people that are on fixed incomes. And I mean, it's one thing if it's, 0.5% or 1%, but when they're talking 10+%, like that's definitely a game changer for people with inflation and everything that's going on right now.
Yeah, I believe it would be a 15% levy. So
Yep.
you're sensitive to some of the residents who that could be a game changer, couldn't
Oh,
it?
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, with inflation as it is, everything obviously is way more. And then all of a sudden to get a huge tax hike on top of that, that really changes the dynamics.
Is Spring Lake Park doing a good job of, embracing the diversity? The demographics have changed over the last couple of decades. Do you feel like everybody
sure.
Is welcome in your city?
For the most part, yeah. I mean, I haven't experienced anything to say otherwise. I know our officers do a fantastic job, and that's one of, when Bob and I talk about stuff, that's one of our big things is, like, law enforcement is the cornerstone of that. Like, if you are having issues or if you're understaffed, overstaffed, trying to keep that happy medium, and I think they've done a really good job of that.
What do you like to do in Spring Lake Park in your spare time?
Home projects, that's probably the big one. Our house is like almost done finally after all the years. It's probably our biggest one right now.
Have you done much door knocking, gone out and, campaigned a little bit?
Not yet. I just actually picked up all of our mailer literature today. So that'll be going out, and then we just got signs in, so I know some are up, but not nearly enough yet.
Yeah,
so,
and the process, since this is your first foray in
Yep.
running for the council, how have you found the process? Is it a little bit more than you thought, or is it about what you expected?
both. My wife has been super helpful. She's one of those where it's like, she's very meticulous on everything that she does. Everything is like over organized, and all that. So she's been really helpful trying to get like some of the literature and, her views on my end of things, just because, I mean, like I said, blue collar, rough around the edges on how you talk and how you say stuff, and, getting somebody else's opinion on like, how do I word this? She's been very helpful, so that's huge.
But is there a fine line? You need to be yourself, right?
Absolutely,
But
yep.
I suppose, for lack of a better phrase, refining maybe your style. Is there a balance there?
Absolutely, yep.
How do you find that?
It's like balance in life. You got to find it. So you do the best you can and kind of go from there.
When you're going to be out door knocking, what do you expect the residents to say to you?
I think it's going to be just more talking and hearing what they want to see in terms of change, if any, good, bad, or otherwise. I mean, I've talked to people just through the years that we've done electrical work on their houses, and you get to know people in the neighborhood, and I don't know, it'll be a good experience for the first time.
And you talked about being maybe a younger candidate. Is it also important to bring a blue-collar perspective to the council? I mean, because some people, you'll have something to say that maybe others don't. They can't really fathom it.
No, like I said, I think it helps that, I mean, I framed houses in high school.
Yeah.
I've been wiring since, forever. I think it helps in the aspect of a lot of the time, city council is good for just saying no. Just flat out, that's it. There's no suggestions, there's no anything. I think having the background that I have, throw out some ideas for these people. You have to work with people.
Yeah.
You can't just cut it off at the knees and say we're done. Like, you got to really work. And I think that's where some of my strengths come in on that.
And you had told us before the interview, trying to get a front porch on your house was
Yep.
like moving a mountain.
Yep.
So if you're on the council, will you have sympathetic eyes and ears to somebody coming in with maybe a similar, wish?
Absolutely. Yeah, just seeing people. I mean, I read through the notes and stuff from some of the meetings, and like some of the stuff I read, I'm like, really? Like, there could have just been some suggestions.
Right.
Hey, maybe, go down this avenue just a little bit. Maybe you could do X, Y, and Z. Instead of just cutting it off and saying, nope, that's not going to happen. Next subject.
What would you like to accomplish on the council?
The thing is, I'm going into it very open-minded. I don't have anything for, like, I want to have this, and done, within X time. I just want to be able to make it on the city council, be able to listen to residents and what they want to see, what they want to do, and try to implement as much as you can.
Is it a pro? I'm guessing it is, that you've spent so much time in Spring Lake Park, that you know the city and you're invested in it.
Absolutely. And that's the thing. That's why we wanted to put the money into our house instead of just moving somewhere else. I like where we live. It's quiet. I like driving down our street for the fact you've got the trees that hang over the road. It's like that old, like, movie almost that you always hope to find one day. And like I said, we've been there for a long time and have no plans on moving, so figured this would be a good opportunity to try to help.
And as you said earlier, not a lot of room for development. So is there anything perhaps that could be done if you wanted to grow the city a bit?
I think if you looked into, on the corner of, it'd be 85th and 65, they've got that Sunset Grill and strip mall. I know there's been some different discussions about that. It would be nice to have something where it's, higher end offices up top, retail below. I think that would really kind of change the dynamics a little bit and bring in more fiscally.
Do you feel like Spring Lake Park is this hidden gem in the metro, in the sense you're real close to Minneapolis and St. Paul?
Yep.
When the Minnesota State Highway 65 is improved in a few years, you're going to have a much better 65 than you do now.
Absolutely.
So getting to Blaine and the gateway to the north will be easier.
Yep.
Is this a hidden gem, Spring Lake Park?
It is. I think the funny part is, too, is like we'll order parts and they're always, hey, Spring Lake Park. Oh, you mean Spring Park, Spring Lake. Nope, Spring Lake Park. Like, people just don't quite, know where you're talking. You're like, oh, you know where Blaine is? Oh, yeah, soccer fields. We're just south of there. Got it, that makes sense. It's something like that.
Does Spring Lake Park have an identification crisis, or are you glad that that's the way it is?
I like it
that
way, because it keeps it quiet and, we don't have, tons of issues like some of these other cities do, and it would be nice to keep it that way.
All right, before we let you go, this is your chance. Talk to the voters out there who are tuning in. Why should they elect you to the council?
Like I said, I'm just a blue-collar guy that wants to try to help bring in, some new, fresh ideas and kind of give back to the city after being here all these years.
Ryan, we appreciate you stopping by.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
He's Ryan Hollihan, running for City Council in Spring Lake Park. This is Local Decision 2024.